That could be the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Look at all the bats! Oh, here they come! The only thing better than a journey to a bucket list destination is finding the ultimate adventure route to get there. We're going to be travelling from the beaches of Bundy all the way to the most iconic sand dune in the Simpson Desert, Big Red. This is an adventure that'll take us thousands of Ks through the hidden secrets of Outback, Queensland, as we take the road less travelled to one of the greatest deserts in the country.
I'm actually a bit nervous for this one. Here we go.
This would have to be one of the most memorable trips we've ever done. This is Off Grid. A road trip from the east coast to the heart of the Simpson Desert has been on my dream list for years, and I reckon I found the ultimate way to get there. And it all starts right here at the stunning Quincoona Beach. That is sensational, folks. Little bit of a geographical reference for you down here, Fraser Island. Just up here, the little town of Bundaberg. Bundy is important because we are going from the beaches of Bundy, that is far away from the beach as you can possibly get, all the way to Birdsville. These two have never been out there before. I'm frothing. It is a long way. We ain't getting there standing here. I suggest we get going. Come on, let's go. There's a couple of fresh faces joining us in the off-grid convoy this trip, with Liv and Tommy from Performance Tourers swapping out the keys of their D-Max for something a bit more wild. A massive F250 they've built up for towing and touring. We've got ourselves a little bit of a creek crossing here flowing out. Absolutely gorgeous. I always hope when I see these things that it's fresh and not salt. I'm almost 100% sure it's fresh. Probably notice behind me, we don't have Steph and Harley. They unfortunately could not make it on this trip. Instead, we've got Liv and Tommy, who are about as excited as a couple get. You got a copy back there in your mobile lounge room.
Tommy's concentrating, but we got a copy, mate.
The big rig, getting across the creek crossing. I like it, folks. This is going to be one hell of a trip. You two pumped?
We are bloody stoked to be here. And yeah, first big trip for the F-Truck, so we're bloody excited.
Well, not only that, it's first time living out of a caravan, first time heading to the Red Centre.
A lot of firsts going on, mate, but we're very excited.
I reckon we get stuck into it. Let's say goodbye to the beach, start making our way west, because you know what I say. Yeah, west is best.
Very, very true, mate. Lead the way.
Quincoona Beach is definitely a favourite of mine and slips off the radar of a lot of travellers. While we can't bring the vans in here, there's a bunch of four-wheel drive only campsites with uninterrupted beach views, and as you can see, we're not exactly fighting the crowds. But that's going to be the theme of this trip as we head along the roads less travelled, stringing together a route to the desert that I guarantee many of you have never thought of. From outback sites to secret camps, back roads to classic pubs, this one is sure to get you dreaming as we head almost halfway across the country to the edge of the Simpson. It's hard to leave the beach on a day as perfect as this, but we've got a lot of ground to cover and so much to see and do. So it's time to grab the vans and start heading inland. Throwing a bit of air in the old tyres here. You'll notice behind we've got the old Viper 13s, compact little hybrids. I reckon I can have that thing up and down again inside 5 minutes. I've got the electric roof version, which I love. Perfect for what we're going to be doing on this trip, which is a lot of exploration stuff, so we may have to take it off, we may have to leave it, and also, won't give too much away, but I reckon there'll be a couple of sand dunes we're going to get across as well. So these things, spot on, perfect. For our first goal of the journey, we're saying goodbye to the cane fields of Bundaberg and pointing the forbies at an iconic inland destination, Carnarvon Gorge. But of course, we're going to find our own unique way of getting there. Well, I'll be darned. Have a go at that. You know, the whole concept behind this trip here is not dissimilar to ones we've done in the past, whereby we are heading from one destination to the other, both of them in their own right worth visiting, but it's not the drive, it's what you find along the way. It's coming across all these little hidden gems. And this one here, you wouldn't even think of it, because ordinarily you'd just be blasting up the Bruce or out on the main highways just trying to get to Birdsville. We're not doing that. We're taking our time and discovering things like this Bulboonda Tunnel. Interestingly, man-made and unsupported, it is the longest tunnel in the southern hemisphere of its kind.
It looks very leery. Are we even going to fit?
I don't know. I'm going in.
Good luck.
Wow. That's one of the sickest things I've ever done. The bats, there's so many bats. Wait till you see the bats.
Oh my gosh. Look at the bats.
I'm closing my window in case the bats get in.
That's wild. I can't believe that.
Wow.
No way.
I've never seen anything like this. There's so much bat poo.
Oh my god.
Quick
Oh, I'm
wind it
trying.
Oh my god.
It's not going up.
That is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
That is wild.
They are thick.
Wow. That was next level. Holy! Little gems like that. Yep, it's what it's all about, folks. I gotta get out and do a bat check.
Oh, mate, that stinks. That's really bad.
That's brutal.
That is repugnant. That's a stinky bat poo place. All right, I'm going in.
Good luck.
Oh, Liv can't hold herself together. Come back. Where are you going?
Oh, here they come. I'm out of here.
That's bad. Like, I've smelt some things in my time, Tommy included.
Hey.
But that's bad.
Impressive structure. What makes it even more impressive is the fact that it was made in 1881. Took 3 years to 1884. It was made by two blokes just using hand tools. Amazing. And the whole thing is unsupported. There's not one trellis or beam anywhere in the whole thing. Which technically means it could fall down at any point. But if a billion bats are calling it home, I reckon I'm pretty safe. Bit warm outside today. We're taking a couple of inland sort of back roads, if you will, to a place called Carnarvon Gorge. More on that later. For now, I really wanted to take this road right here. It's called the Inland Defence Road. A couple of interesting facts on this one. It was actually made during World War II, of all things. And this is a classic example. Have a look at this. This bridge here, coming up on our left, there's 12 of these bridges all along this road. They were designed to keep this road open year round, and they were all made by Italian and Albanian prisoners of war. Have a look at that.
Hey, that looks more like a piece of artwork than a bridge to me.
Isn't it, eh? There's 12 of them in total. Absolutely stunning. What's interesting is at the end of World War II, all of those people that were being held captive all over Australia, believe it or not, there's prisoner of war camps all through WA as well. All of the prisoners of war were sent back home again. And quite a few of them had come to really love Australia and actually came back and settled over here with their families after the war. It's becoming more and more popular these days, regardless of whether you're doing a weekender or you're on the road for a year, to try and capture what you're seeing out there so that you can share it with other people. The most common way people kind of do that these days, of course, is with an action cam. But I think they sometimes get used, not inappropriately, but they could be used better. Here's a couple of tips that I've learnt whilst doing this show, and of course, many others that I've worked on. One, too many people get shots of just their vehicle. They might put it on the bull bar looking back. It's a cool shot, but don't use it all the time. Get it out. Get some angles going so that you can see a bit of the car, but also you're seeing all of that landscape out there. And number two, each one of these action cams will come with different modes. So you'll have time lapse, you'll have slow motion. Experiment with all those to try and capture your surroundings. If you're trying to convey distance and time, use the time lapse. We've got a couple of new little gadgets. We've got some on the vehicles right now. I'll pull up here and give you a look at exactly what we're doing, because we're using action cams right now to make this show. Check this out. Now, to get the cool shots you've been seeing us get, you're going to need some sort of a mount to hold your camera. Pretty simple. You can go with the old suction mount. These work really good on the side of a canopy. You almost got it stuck on there. You can go magnetic mounts. These are fantastic on the body of your vehicle, but they don't work on the canopy because, of course, the bad boy is aluminium. Or, check this out. Have a go at this for Rolls-Royce. It's got a shock absorber and it automatically suctions on there using some sort of battery-powered mechanism that I don't understand. But none of this is important if you don't have the right action cam. This right here, of course, is the Osmo from DJI, the Action 5 Pro. We are using it right now to film me. There's a cameraman. He's almost redundant. I could hold it myself, but I'll give it back to him. What I love about these bad boys is, of course, that they've got all the features of a pro camera. High res, 4K, incredible stabilization, and there's no audio going to this right now, and it sounds fantastic, just coming straight into the mic, built into the camera. Jump onto George's, get yourself one of these little bad boys, pop it in your pocket, pop it in the glove box, and you will never miss a moment off-road. Soon we're approaching our first big landmark of the trip, with the Carnarvon Ranges coming up on the horizon. Very atmospheric skies out here at the moment. We're technically what you would call pretty late in the season for this part of Australia, central Queensland. I think it's fantastic. I think it's an amazing time to be out here. No crowds, there's virtually no one around, and everything's just green and coming back to life. And now we're aiming for something just slightly different. We're going to head into a pretty touristy part of the world, Carnarvon Gorge, but we're doing it a little bit different. We're going to meet up with a couple of guys that live out here on a station. They're going to give us just a bit of an insight to some of the stuff you can do and see around this area that isn't perhaps on the tourist maps. For that, we're heading to Nianda Station, nestled up against the edge of the Carnarvon Ranges. We're here to catch up with Katie and Christian, who are going to show us around the property and take us up into the ranges to check out some pretty wild history. It might be heading into summer, but around here, that can mean a lot of summer rain. And the guys reckon we'll need to drop the vans at the homestead before we head out, which gives us a chance to meet a local dignitary, a big old bull who goes by the name of Touchdown. Apparently this bully is friendly. Now, I've seen a lot of bulls in my day. He doesn't look friendly.
Hey, like, I don't know, there's a lot of people around.
Who wants to jump on him?
I'm not jumping on him. Hello, buddy.
He won't do much.
You're gorgeous, aren't you? Me? Yep, acting tough right now. This fella might look tough, but the guys reckon you can actually ride him. And Liv is the only one brave enough to give it a go.
Just sit a little bit further forward up on him. There you go.
Alright, mate. You're alright. You're alright. Oh my god. I was not expecting this when I woke up this morning.
Yep, my day has been made. You'll notice I'm on this side of a large concrete barrier. They call me Billy Hunt. Yep.
Chicken.
Touchdown might accept passengers, but he's not exactly easy to steer.
Back him up.
Put it in reverse.
Oh god, he's getting a bit of pace up now. Alright, I'll see you later.
Righto, where are we off to now?
Righto, well, that's Liv taken care of. Let's go. The Carnarvon Ranges form a sandstone plateau that offers a rare glimpse into a different age on planet Earth, and Nianda Station is the perfect place to check it out. Mate, if a dinosaur was to walk out of this valley, it would not surprise me.
Yeah, it does seem a bit that way, eh?
Just a stunning part of the world, mate. So what are we sort of coming off the farm sort of situation here back into the Gorge country, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of mountains where we're going, and lots of creeks. So the creek we're about to go through here is all spring fed, so it's got water in it all year round. So just about never dries up.
Paradise, a little hidden paradise. I like it. Christian and Katie run tours across the property and up into a private gorge when the weather allows. And what this area holds is a lot more than just farming. Incredible landscapes around here. We're actually in a big old bowl at the moment, surrounded by these massive cliffs. The amount of weathering and time that it's taken to create what we're currently driving on is something that I just can't fathom. We're talking 280 million years. A little creek crossing coming up on my map down here. We're going to stop. I'm going to try and find something to try and illustrate exactly what it is I'm talking about. Flowing water through sandstone, of course, means erosion, and that uncovers layers of the history from a long bygone era. That's what we're looking for. Just come for a bit of a walk down this creek here now. As the crow flies, where I am right now, to the nearest stretch of coast in a directly straight line, 437 kilometres. Why is that significant? Significant because these rocks here, all of them, they're all littered with fossilised shells. It's a coral. That means that at some stage, This bad boy right here was under the ocean. We're talking a little while ago, between 200 and 300 million years ago, but it just blows your mind to think that we've had glaciers, we've had dry spells, droughts, all sorts of things in those 200 to 300 million years. Once upon a time, right now I would have been deep under the ocean.
So these are shells you were saying?
Yeah, they're all bivalve shells, so they've been sitting in that rock for 270 or so million years.
So if they had an oyster in them, they probably wouldn't be any good anymore.
You could give it a go.
Now, of course, that's pretty darn old, but it's not the oldest thing out here. In fact, this part of Australia actually is home to one of the oldest bits of DNA getting around.
How was it, Graham, growing up watching all the earth changing like that?
It's been exciting. I've enjoyed it.
It would have been hard to see the dinosaurs come and go though.
Until you guys came along and then it got real boring real quick.
Oh, this guy.
This is what we're looking for right here, and an impressive specimen it is too. This is a cycad. Now, when you're trying to get your head around ages, it's nice to be able to put something into perspective that's actually around on planet Earth at the moment. Let's take, for example, the big old crocs you get up in Cape York. Those bad boys look as if they come from the dinosaur era. And they haven't changed much since then. These, however, the old cycad, are amongst some of the oldest living DNA on the planet. They are way predating dinosaurs. They go back a long while. They've got a big old fruit up there. There's one on this one here that's not quite ripe right now. Deadly as heck. In fact, you just look at it, you fall over. But traditional cultures out here, they had a way of soaking it, drying it out, soaking it, crushing it, soaking it, drying it out, crushing it. And they could actually turn that deadly fruit into food. About the only thing around here now, I'm told, that eats it, the pigs, they can eat just about anything, and I was told, the white-tailed black cockatoo somehow manages to ingest that as well. But the old cycad, crazy creature. Farming in this kind of country requires a fair bit of management, and we're lucky enough today to catch a glimpse of a side of farm life you don't often get to see. Pretty obvious as to what's going on here. They're using fire as a management tool out here to burn off the grasses because they know they've got rains coming, so this grass will just come back thicker. It needs more feed for the animals. It's great to see. It's been used, as we all know, for millennia throughout Australia. What is a little confronting, however, for me is the fact that I'm in a petrol vehicle with 2 jerry cans on the back, one of which is not sealed very well and is leaking petrol. So, needless to say, I ain't stopping for a closer look. Listen, if you're out this way, I encourage you to check out Christian and Katie's tag-along tours. For now, they've given us a hot tip on a gorge to check out further up in the Carnarvon Gorge range. You could easily spend several days right here with some big hikes on offer, leading to some stunning gorges and Aboriginal rock art. We've only got about a day up our sleeve, and the guys are pointing us to a lesser-known gorge that will give us a taste of what the place has to offer. Sure enough, it is magical.
This is so specky.
This part of the world is what you call semi-arid, but the sandstone gorges in the ranges form a hidden oasis and a throwback to a very different time. It might be in the high 30s out in the open, but down here it's cool and lush. You can see why traditional folk would have found this place so special. Now look, I'll lie if I told you I remember the name of this gorge, but we were suggested that we come and have a look at it because it's one of the ones most people steam on past in order to get to the more famous landmarks out here. It's actually the end of the walking track was back that way a little bit, but if you push on a bit further, you can get to a part down here where you can touch the edge of the gorge. Well, most people can. I'll see if I can. Look at the green with the late afternoon light coming through there. Wowzers. Our first day on the road has been pretty damn special, but now it's time to find a camp. And once again, we're following a tip-off from the guys for a secret squirrel campsite not far off. Look at that. Golden hour. Last little bit of light of the day. She's still pretty spicy out there, 35 degrees at 5 p.m. on the dot. Tommy and Long-Legged Liv, you millennials got a copy?
Are we millennials?
Copy, mate.
Oi, have a look at that mountain range to the left there. If that doesn't look like the Coburn Ranges in the Kimberley, I don't know what does. It is getting dangerously close to that time of day where I'm going to turn into a pumpkin if I don't crack a beer.
I feel that. So have you got a camp in mind for us, or what's the plan?
Yes, I do. Up here on the left, below what looks like the fake Coburn Ranges, should be a big, clear, open clay pan. Perfect to camp on. I don't know where it is. I'm just going to keep my eye open, so follow me. Let's head on in. Sure enough, our camp for the night is up ahead, and yep, that'll do, donkey. Have a go at this little gadget right here. This is a remote control for the roof of my Maverick. Yes, a remote control. Now, of course, you can put them up manually, but let's just say you've got, I don't know, bit of a sore shoulder from, like me, holding up the world, or you could just be getting old, like me. This makes it so much simpler. Push a button and the roof goes up. Takes about the same amount of time, but in that time, you can pop that away and grab yourself a beer, whilst those guys are still setting up. Liv and Tommy might have toured the country, but they're in for a treat tonight. Their first ever night in a van, and you couldn't ask for a better spot to park up for the night. Soon we've got the fire cranking, and Tommy's even taking care of dinner. Steaks on the barbie. How good? That is cooked to perfection, bro. Absolutely beautiful. Now,
Can cook a steak, this bloke.
big F truck. First time going out to the dead centre. Is you going all right?
It's hard to say because it's a Ford, but honestly, driving it,
Yeah, I
it
hear.
is absolutely beautiful to drive. There's
Yeah.
no question about
And she's
it.
been handling the caravan behind her really, really well as well. It's not surprising, but
If I was going to buy one of these big trucks, and I'll be honest with you, the only reason I can't is they're too big for me. I'm a midget. I can't get one of these things. But if I was going to, what do you recommend? Can you just buy them off the showroom floor and go and tow with them?
You can to a degree. Ultimately, they are designed for towing.
Yep.
But, there's definitely things you probably want to get sorted out of the box to make sure that they're going to be dependable and reliable in the long run, especially if you are heading remote. There is limited support.
Oh, there's virtually none.
Yeah,
I would say.
there's a few really good companies like ours, in local areas that you can depend on. But the reality is, if you're heading to the Red Centre,
You're on your own.
yeah, that's it. So you want to have those preventatives in place to make sure that when you are going to hit the road, you don't have to look back. Just go.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can cook a steak. That's a big tick in my book. Your first night in a van together. I don't want to know the intimate details. And tomorrow, let's keep going west.
We've
let's
got some
bloody
driving
go.
to do. West is best.
Exactly.
It's hard to argue with.
Here's your chance to save up to $310 on one of the cameras that we use to get some of the footage that you're watching on this very episode. This, of course, is the DJI Action 5 cam. Like all the cameras we use, this bad boy comes from George's Cameras, and they have got a red hot deal for this right now. Now, you're going to get, of course, 128 gig SD card. You're going to get a case to put the whole lot in, and you're going to get a suction mount so that you can put the camera on the side of your vehicle. Now, this is worth $599, but that is all you're paying for. You're actually getting $829 worth of value, a saving of $230 for just $599. Also, you've got the option to upgrade to the Pro Kit. Now, that comes with an automatic suction mount. It automatically suction mounts to the side of your vehicle, and then when it's on there, it's got a hydraulic arm so that that camera ain't going anywhere and you're getting the smoothest possible footage that you can. Now, that whole lot is $1,109 for the whole thing. George's are doing that right now for $799. So, of course, you are saving $310. It's not going to last long, folks. Jump over to George's Cameras and do yourself a favour. Looking out at the lush backdrop of the Carnarvon Ranges, it's actually pretty hard to believe that we are en route to one of the greatest deserts on the planet, that being the mighty Simpson. But of course, there's still over 1,400 k's of backcountry adventure between us and our goal. And today, we've got a lot of ground to cover.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thought I would report to you live from the good old Maverick camper. It was officially Tom and I's first night in a camper last night, and I'm pleasantly surprised, I will say that. Super, super comfy, lots of room in the bed, and like, you know, we're usually swag and rooftop tent people, so having like a toilet right there, aircon at the touch of a button, it was maybe a little bit too flush for us, but absolutely loving it. So I'm keen. I reckon we're going to be expert caravanners by the end of this trip.
Oh yeah, they look good. There's something I want to show you folks that I guarantee every single one of you are going to try. In there, I've got 6-8 eggs, going to hard boil them. I'm going to put them in the fridge. We're not eating them today. We're going to do something completely different with them. It's going to change the way you look at hard-boiled eggs. More on that later. Carnarvon Gorge down here, blowing me away. I will definitely be back. There is so much more to Carnarvon Gorge than what we have got time to look at right now. The reason we're running a little bit low on time is I've got a shift at a brand new job. My very first shift, won't lie, I'm very nervous about it. It is a long way west and we've got to cover a fair bit of ground. So, get me eggs boiled, put them in the fridge, and we're going to get on the road. Rightio! Ready to roll? Listen. Never gets old. I've had a lot of fun planning out this trip, and with so many things pinned on my map to check out, the biggest challenge is figuring out how much we can actually fit into the day while still making a mile.
So we're officially back on the road. What have you got on the cards for us today?
Mate, I reckon we keep pushing west. We've got a fair bit of ground to cover. I wouldn't mind if we can drop it into one of the local rivers today, maybe throw a yabby pot in, maybe try and catch a fish. I've never had much success in the old fresh water, but there's been a bit of rain up here, which is giving a bit of a flush, so you never know, we might get lucky.
Sounds like a bloody good time to me, mate. Let's get cracking.
When you slow down a bit, you start to discover things you'd otherwise miss, like this little gem right here, offering a reminder of how different outback travel used to be. Let's get our nerd on for just a second. This is the original highway cut through here in 1905 using Chinese labour. Now you can actually look on here and you can see where they've gone at it with the old pickaxe. You can see each individual layer, they're actually coming on different angles. What I want to ask though, why did they cut through this, which would have taken an enormous amount of effort, and yet they followed the exact same gradient as the hill? It's no flatter, they've still come up the hill. In the comments down below, if you've ever worked on road crews, if you know anything about the history of Australian roads, why did they cut through here when they could have just knocked down a few trees and within a day have done the same thing up there? Let me know. Otherwise, it's little spots like this that I find absolutely fascinating. Look at this, the original Highway 1. For the next leg of our journey, we're going to be skirting around the northern edges of the Carnarvon Ranges. Much of the country out here is dedicated to farming sheep and cattle, and our next goal is the little town of Blackall, home to some rural history that's just too good to miss. After a stunning drive through the western reaches of Carnarvon Park, we're soon approaching Blackall and the edge of an underground body of water that spans around 22% of the continent. Boy, old Black Betty, got a copy back there?
Got a coffee, mate?
The Great Artesian Basin. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, we've heard little bits and pieces. It's pretty cool when you think about it, hey?
Big old body of water lies underground. To give you some scale, some context, a little bit of size, I think it's about 130,000 times the size of Sydney Harbour itself.
Wowee, that's a lot of water.
It is a fair drop of water. Now, what's significant about it is, I'm going to head up here to a little town, the entire area was founded on and relied upon the Great Artesian Basin. I'll show you why. Sometimes checking out historical sites can feel like a bit anticlimactic. You know, a few plaques, some rusted remains. But when it comes to Blackall or Woolscour, that couldn't be further from the truth. One of the last remaining records of what was once an absolute booming national industry, this place has been faithfully restored and maintained by tireless volunteers and kept open to the public to come and check out. What really makes this place special today is the knowledge of the volunteer guides. And Scotty, who's taken the time to come out and show us around, well, let's just say he's an absolute expert.
Both sides of the railway line would be just stacked, and you'll see the big spanner there. They'd use that to adjust those valves. Anything above that 25 and above is carpet wool. When both those boxes were full, he'd pull the top box onto the bottom box, and the buckets were there for the convenience of their staff to pee in.
The Blackall wool scour operated from 1905 to 1978. But this old machinery, believe it or not, is still kept running today by dedicated locals. Well, just spent the last hour being shown around something I'm quite embarrassed to say I had absolutely no idea about. This is the Blackall scouring shed. I won't go into it, I'll let you guys do your research. Basically, everything you see here drove an enormous industry, employing hundreds of people, and it did it in such a way, such a manner, that it was the longest and most profitable scouring shed in Australia. But what I want to say is that these little gems that you find out here in the middle of nowhere that are all volunteer run are golden. We've lost this. This can't exist anymore. There's no way anyone would work in these conditions. Couldn't happen. This is lost. But tours by guys like Scotty, who do it as a volunteer, are still going. And to me, in these little towns like this, absolutely gold. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was sensational. There's one last thing I want to show you because it blows my mind. I'll step outside for that. Mentioned a bit earlier about the Great Artesian Basin. Well, this is where everything comes to a head, so to speak. This water, believe it or not, is over 1,000 years old. It comes from a well 800 metres below the surface. I'll say that again, 800 metres below. Comes out at a rate of around 650,000 gallons a day. Unfathomable, that amount of water. Here's a cool fact. Powers the whole town of Blackall. They don't actually have hot water systems, they don't need to. Just use that. It comes out at exactly 56 degrees, too hot to shower with. You've actually got to mix cold water in with it. Incredible. And here is a kooky fact. In order for the scourer to work, they needed water to be between 53 and 60 degrees. That is 56 degrees. It was meant to be. The whole enterprise blows my mind. Now, we're going to get back on the road. We're going to go and find some water of our own, but I want it to be significantly cooler than that. Now, I mentioned before that I wanted to find a spot to fish, and for that, we've got to point the rigs towards the Birdsville River, a system we'll be following for a few days as we head towards Birdsville. The country out here is starting to take on that flat, open aspect of desert country. But believe it or not, there's fishing out here that's good enough to warrant an annual competition. For us though, our thoughts are starting to turn to camp. We've soon found the perfect spot. Rightio guys, about that time of day. Nice little campsite down here on the river. They tell me this is the spot to catch yellowbelly.
I'll be pretty bloody impressed if we manage to get onto one.
All I've ever caught in freshwater is carp out this way. This apparently is the home of the yellowbelly. Like if you can't catch a yellowbelly here, hang up your hat.
Mate, don't worry about what we've said. All right, I've got faith. We're going to knock them out of the park.
Yeah, a bit of a tricky manoeuvre to get in here.
Do you want me to get Liv to jump in and reverse into that spot for you?
Might have to.
Matt, bring it back. Right hand down.
So often, when you travel the more established routes, you'll find yourself fighting for a spot among the crowds. And yeah, we've got a lot of competition today. Check this out. We literally have the entire river all to ourselves. And that's pretty damn stunning. behind me is the very sporting ground that is host to the Isisford annual fishing competition. Apparently there is that many yellowbelly in there you can walk across them on a good day. I've yet to believe it or see it. But what we've got here is a packet of worms. That's a box full of worms, approximately 40 it says there. I've got a fishing rod and a hook, and down on the banks you can see where people have put little forked sticks up so you can put your rod down. Now, when it comes to fishing inland Australia, I'm a complete numpty. I have zero idea what I'm doing. So I'm going on the advice of other people. Hopefully I can get myself an Australian native. If I catch a yellowbelly today, I will be absolutely stoked. Even if I don't though, in here is something that'll make me feel a little bit better. So I'm gonna grab a chair, a brewski, some worms, and go and sit by that river until it's time to do something a bit special. I'm gonna show you guys a technique tonight. I guarantee you you're gonna try. For now, let's go and catch a yellowbelly. I don't even know what a yellowbelly looks like. I suppose I've got a yellow belly, right?
Right, let's go. I've caught a tree ready.
You look like you're ready for business.
Now look, I'm gonna be honest, river fishing for me, well, it's not the most exciting, although it does provide the excuse for a beer. But soon, the worms are starting to pay off.
It's something.
Is there something on?
Yeah.
Or is it a worm?
I don't think it could get any smaller.
What is that? What is that?
That's a...
Don't put it on me.
Just have a quick sort of... What is it? That's a catfish of
It's a
some
cobra.
sort.
Well, there's fish in the
I
water.
don't know if you can see it. You might have to zoom in 35 times to see that. But it is a fish. That's one more fish than I thought I was going to catch today.
He really took that too, that first run. I thought he had you.
Mate, I thought I was going to pull the bank into the water.
Yep. That's why we're using 40-pound trace, guys.
Might have to get the electric reel out if that happens again.
Yeah, no, we'll deep drop for him. The fish are clearly on the chew now, if you can call that a fish. Come on, son. Oh, it's a good caddy. Nice, mate.
Oh, big caddy.
That would be at least probably coming into 11 centimetres, that one. Thank goodness we've got a barbecue tonight. Actually, what are the kids cooking? I don't even know what they're cooking tonight.
Secret. It's a
Secret.
surprise.
Just when I thought I'd never make the board, my rod finally lights up. How excitement. Mud marlin. Mud marlin. Oh, it's one of those things. Well, it's fairly obvious it's a freshwater catfish of some sort. I'd really like to know what sort it is, though. Those people that know, that are in the know, tell me, what sort of catfish is that? With the yellowbelly tally remaining firmly at 0 and some dark clouds building on the horizon, it's time to hunker down for the night. Now, please, if you know some secrets to freshwater fishing, let me know in the comments below. Well, she's not all fun and games out here, folks. Things can and do often go wrong. Liv had a bit of a slip in camp on flat ground in lace-up boots the other day. And I'm being serious now, she's actually done herself a bit of a mischief. She's got a big old swollen cankle. We're not too sure. She's okay, she can bear weight on it, she's fine, but she's sitting over there right now, she can't even go fishing. So I'm gonna grab some anti-inflammatories for her, but whilst I do that, I thought I'd just give you a look at what we run in all of the cars here in terms of first aid kits. These are from Survival First Aid. They are the bee's knees when it comes to first aid kits. Couple of key features I like, because I'm a bit of a klutz. And so when things get a bit stressful or you need to be thinking real quick, these things make it so easy. Colour-coded, so you know straight away, trauma situation, you go to red. Red's over this side, this is where the trauma stuff is. If you're looking for hygiene, you know, your antiseptic wipes, that kind of thing, straight to the blue area. What I also like is they come with a booklet that tells you exactly how much of each one of these things should be in the kit. Fantastic as well, of course, is the snakebite kit. Now, I carry one of these in. I've got one in this vehicle, I've got one in Shorty, I've got one in the GU. I take them everywhere with me, primarily because of these things right here. They call them the smart bandage. Now, when you get tagged by a snake, first thing you want to do is wrap that limb up. How tight, though, do you make the bandage? A lot of people get caught out with that. With these, that rectangle turns into a square when you pull it and tension it around, so you know exactly that you've got the right tension. Perfect for snake bites, funnel web spider bites, all that kind of thing. And everything you need, splint, there's a pen to mark the site, everything you need is in the one kit. I highly recommend grab one of these bad boys and chuck it in your four-wheel drive. If you ever need to use it, it's all there ready to go. But first aid is one of those things, you want to make it as simple as possible, because when it comes time to use it, it can be a stressful situation. Make sure you've got it all where you need it. And if you're break dancing on a flat piece of ground in your lace-up boots, yeah, try and keep a bit of stability going. We'll get Liv all patched up and she'll be good to go. Look at the size of that freaking thing.
I've definitely done myself a mischief here.
Holy heck, look at that! That's the colour blue. You can plan out the perfect route and track down the best campsites, but you can't control the weather. And the afternoon build-up is bringing with it a fair old wind that's preventing us lighting a fire. That's going to make the dinner the guys have got planned for tonight, nachos cooked in a camp oven, a bit more difficult. But I've got a little entree surprise coming up to keep them motivated. I've been wanting to show this to you guys for quite some time. I do it all the time at home. Now, you've heard about smoking meats before, you know, your pulled pork, your briskets, that kind of thing. Well, that's a hot smoked meat. What I'm going to do today is called cold smoking, and it opens up a world of possibilities to you. You can smoke pretty much anything using the cold smoking method. Today, however, we're going to be cold smoking some eggs as an entree. How you do it? First and foremost, you're going to need to get yourself one of these bad boys right here. This thing is called a smoke tube, into which we're going to place, you can place one of two things, pellets, wood pellets, or I like to use wood chips. Pack them in there, you light the end, it starts to smoulder, you blow it out, and then you've got to pop it into something. Your barbecue, if you've got a lid on it, is the perfect thing to use. So basically, your barbecue becomes your cold smoking vessel. Your eggs go in there, that goes in there, smoking away nicely. You need to have a bit of airflow, which luckily tonight we have plenty of because it is blowing an absolute gale. Eggs take about 40-45 minutes to smoke. What do you do with them after that? Come back to me in a minute, I'll show you. For now, I'm gonna have myself a brewski while I wait for nachos and smoked eggs, which reminds me of a joke. What do you say if a Mexican steals your cheese? Oi! That's nacho cheese!
Alrighty, so it's been another big day of driving on the road, and it's Tommy and I's night to cook. So being the fact that it's kind of like our first time towing a caravan and I guess first taste at the nomad lifestyle, let's just say, we decided we're going to do a bit of nachos, but we're going to call them nomad nachos, right? We did have a bit of a plan to do them in a camp oven and, you know, make it all beautiful and things like that, but...
No, plans change and we don't want to burn down the next 3 towns. So we're going to do it on the stove here off the side of the Maverick.
How much garlic we putting in?
Yeah, you have to be very specific. I've seen some of these off-grid and 4Drive 24/7 shows. So you get your jar and you just tip nearly all of it in there because you don't need to be able to cook if you've got garlic.
That's a lot of garlic. We've got the onions, we've got the garlic, we've got the mince, diced tomatoes, black beans, corn. We've got everything going on, right? I think we need to let this simmer for a hot minute and then we'll come back and layer it and do all the good stuff, and then she shouldn't be far off.
I feel like we need a snack to tie us over till then though.
What's Graham doing?
Rightio. That's some smoked eggs right there, kids. Whew. You can smell the smoke in them. I'm just going to put a little bit of aioli. This one's a bit fancy. Truffle and garlic. Onto that, we're going to put some pickles on each of the eggs. Why? Because I freaking like pickles. No other reason. Tabasco, again, because we like Tabasco. This is just some cut up spring onions for that umami goodness. And then on top of that, believe it or not, I'm putting some smoked salt.
Stop it, that actually smells really,
Have a go.
really good.
I've cut them in halves. Normally I do them in quarters, but I figure we're all big boys. Let's get them into us.
Okay, here we go.
They could be a bit smokier. The wind was blowing the smoke through there way too quick.
Stay on there, Charles.
But yeah, have a go. I put Tabasco on there too because I heard you like Tabasco.
They are incredible.
Any good?
Yeah.
That's smoky.
Yeah.
It's the smoky, the kind of tangy of the pickles. Mate, you did really well.
Oh, the cameraman wants one. What on earth? He never shows up. There you go, bud. What on earth? Folks, you've seen it first.
In a perfect world, you lay all of your meat and your cheese on top of your chips, put your lid on top, get your coals off your fire, and that's gonna melt your cheese. But look, we don't have a fire, so I found some over at Graham's camp, and we're just gonna melt the cheese before we get blown off the face of the planet.
So that blowtorch actually worked really bloody well. So time to serve up.
Holy heck.
Are you a fan of jalapenos?
I love jalapenos,
Okay.
but that will...
Oh, Lord.
Oh, that toilet tomorrow in the little caravan.
We're not done.
Look at the size of that thing.
Yeah, a bit of guacamole.
That is not a jalapeno. That's a death ring.
Bit of sour cream.
Oh man, I'm being double teamed here. I like this.
Then we got a bit of
Settle down,
extra
Tiger.
salsa.
Okay, yep, that'll do.
And then look at that. That's beautiful.
Look at that. This is the perfect meal for tonight. We're going to eat these nachos. I think we have to hunker down. I'm going to grab another brewski. Holy heck, something makes me think it's going to be like tequila at 3 a.m. I'm going to regret it tomorrow. But right now, let's just check in tomorrow. Looking at the conditions this morning, it's hard to believe that last night was blowing a gale, and it looks like we're in for another pretty good day. I tell you what, having the vans in tow definitely makes travelling way more comfortable in shoulder season, and that just frees you up to make the most of your time away. We are in November here at the moment, and for most people, this country is just off the radar at this time of year. But it's strange. There's a date in the calendar, and the locals, the tourist operators, they all sort of call it the end of the season. That's it, end of the season. But life still goes on out here. There's still people working in town. There's still people living out here. Nothing changes. It just gets a little bit hotter. And you have to deal with a little bit of weather, but you don't have to deal with the crowds. And for me, that's what coming out here is all about. I don't want to share this with 3 dozen other people. I get it. Certain times of year you can get away, certain times of year you can't. But if you can coordinate your timing to be off that shoulder period, like this, all to ourselves. And today's going to be a gorgeous day, 29 degrees. Okay, the flyers have come out. They're a little bit how you going. But you get them middle of the year as well, so don't be fooled. Anyway, enough of that. You've heard me say it a million times. We're pushing on to the little town of Stonehenge over here today, and there's a good reason for it. I've got to clock on for a shift this evening. My first time working, I won't say where, but you'll see. And I don't want to be late. Bit concerned I'm going to drink the profits, but we'll see how we go. Oh, that's so much easier. Just doing a bit of preventative maintenance while we're out here at the moment, just packing up, waiting for everyone to get ready. This stuff here, we carry it with us everywhere. Brunox, or old turbo spray. This stuff is absolutely sensational. I mean, it's an anti-corrosive, it's a water dispersant, it's a lubricant. It pretty much does everything. So I use it on all the areas where I do need a little bit of lubrication. Like that one there I've done. This one here I haven't. See the difference? A little bit of turbo spray on there. Straight away. So much better. I use it all over the van on just about everything, and it also loosens rusted parts. So if you do have to undo a bolt, good idea to hit it with a bit of this, leave it for as long as you can, overnight if you can, then come back and have a crack the next morning. So much easier. I carry 2 cans of this in the vehicle at all times. When you're caravanning, touring, four-wheel driving, pretty much anything. The old turbo spray, Brunox, this stuff, the bee's knees. Righto, I am marking that site on the old map because I'm coming back. Stunning little spot. I could pitch myself up there, get a bit of firewood, awning out, get a roast on about 3 in the arvo, a couple of brewskis. I could just sit there for a week. I'd be very, very happy. It's been a new experience touring the Outback with a US-made truck in the convoy, but so far, the Performance Tourers F250 had been eating it up. Well, your question that's been going around in my head, given the choices that you had in the world of mechanics, why did you go down the route of big American trucks?
Mate, we just, over the last few years, we've seen a bit of an influx of them. Ultimately, we bought this one, the big Ford F250, because it was the most foreign to me and we needed to see what they're made of. So, yeah, that's why we decided to build this one.
In the time that you've been in business, are you seeing, like more and more people getting into big American trucks?
Yeah, it's definitely getting more and more popular. I think that's heavily due to the fact that, people are increasingly towing heavier equipment, and there's just a demand for it now. And obviously the likes of GVM, you have to have the right vehicle for towing.
So true, so true. I don't know whether it's the fact that I'm traveling with you guys and so I'm seeing things that I ordinarily wouldn't see, but I've seen more big American trucks on this trip, and man, they're towing some gear. I don't know what the gear is. It's all farm related. It looks big and heavy, but I'm seeing more and more of them. So if that's any indication, I think you're onto a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of our clients, our customers are, roofers, barkies, plumbers, and the likes, and a lot of them are getting out of their Land Cruisers and you know, Isuzu trucks and into these because they have the tow rating and also that comfort factor as well.
One of my favourite parts of travelling rural Australia is getting to meet local legends in the remote communities we find along the way. And today we're aiming for the tiny town of Stonehenge, where we're going to be catching up with a couple of blokes who are making a big difference in their community. For that, we're jumping back onto the blacktop for a few Ks, where there's a bit of a surprise hidden off the roadside. Boy, I'm just slowing down here because very hard to see, but if you look out your left and right windows, can you see words on the ground? I know that sounds weird.
I was literally about to ask you, mate. Looks like there's some funky little rock formations going on either side of the road. What is it?
Well, when I was told about this, I thought, no, come on, that's a bit gimmicky. But apparently, this is called the Stonehenge Address Book. And out here are thousands, literally thousands and thousands of people have written their name and where they're from on the side of the road in stones.
Crikey, it goes for a long way. I can just imagine seeing Graham, West is best, written in it.
I haven't got time. That'll take me a month of Sundays. Wasn't this a quirky little thing? I can't imagine how many people there are that have put their names and addresses in rocks here. It goes for a kilometre from here all the way down around the bend on both sides of the road. There'll be a couple of thousand people have stopped here and written their names. Now, I'm not about to put Graham from Yellingup. I haven't got time. But these guys have just made off-grid, and I reckon that's pretty cool. So we've added our little bit to it. The only rule here is don't steal someone else's rocks to make your name. So if you're coming past this way, I'll give you a hint. You don't have to go too far north. Try and find ours. If you can, send in a photo. I'll be stoked. It's right there, off-grid. The Stonehenge address book means we're getting close to the town itself. Stonehenge is the quintessential outback farming town, boasting a population of just 58 people. And I've been invited to come out and help run the local pub. Rightio, this looks like us. Almost time for me to clock on for my shift.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited about this. Are you excited for your first shift?
Won't lie, a little bit nervous, trepidation, creeping in, but look, I'll give it my best shot.
Mate, I believe you're capable of anything. Let's go for it.
I was going to consult Google Maps, but I don't think we'll need it. With so many younger folk these days chasing dreams in the big smoke, it's great to hear stories of people choosing instead to improve local communities like this one. The Stonehenge Hotel is just such a story. This little pub is the absolute lifeblood of Stonehenge, and it's more than just a place for the locals to meet. Running the town's fuel bowsers, the local caravan park, heck, it's even the post office, the grocery store, and the RFDS call point. A couple of mates, Grant and Tom, recently bought the place and have committed themselves to keep the place open, working here 7 nights a week in between shifts at the local quarry. Money is tight enough that the place can't even be insured. But the locals reckon if the pub folded, so would the town. And if that's not a worthy cause, then I don't know what is. Well, it's one thing to call into these little country pubs and have a beer on that side of the bar, but tonight I'm earning me keep and I'm going to work behind the bar. You can knock off, mate. Actually, what do you want? I'll buy you a beer. Done. A couple of 4Xs.
I'll have a goal, thanks, mate.
Yeah, 2
Done.
votes, mate.
Oh heck, where do I even go? In this one here? Beautiful. There you are, sir. Would you like a stubby holder? I've got one here somewhere. There you are, sir.
Thank you.
Stubby holder? You don't get one. There you go. There you are. That'll be $8.50. I don't actually know how much it is. I should get one for myself, shouldn't I? It's hard work. Harder than it looks.
You haven't even bought a beer, you've just pulled one.
Settle down, all right? I'm just started. Now, folks, we are only halfway to our destination. We're at Stonehenge at the moment, and as you can see, we are booked in for the night. Me, whew, carrying the weight of the little town on my shoulders. We have still got a long way to go to get to Birdie, and I, for one, am frothing. We've just got to get these guys out of here tomorrow morning somehow, and then get down to Birdsville. Never been before, have you?
Never.
In for a treat. For you guys, you're going to have to wait and see. Catch you next time on...
Forward drive 24/7. Off-grid.
Kicking them out! I'm kicking them out! Next time on Off Grid, our journey from the beach to Birdsville gets a whole lot more rugged as we head out into the wild conditions of the Simpson at the end of the season. Join us for some big days, big skies, and of course, one of the most famous four-wheel drive challenges in Australia.
I'm actually a bit nervous for this one.
This is it, the mighty Big Red.
Oh, she's soft. We're fishtailing.
Don't miss it. Coming soon to Four Wheel Drive 24/7.